Hi, I'm Tyler from Paranormal Inquiries, and what you just heard are our new music boxes. So these are the 3 different sizes of music boxes that we are building. Our large, our medium, and our small. They are motion activated, digital music boxes, and as you can tell, they are very, very loud. You can definitely hear them from across the hall or even in another room. What makes our music boxes different than anyone else? This nice vintage style look. Also, our music boxes are digital. So if you don't like the creepy music that we have playing, you can select your own. Or if you're going to a location that you know responds to specific time period music, you can preload up on just the music you need for the situation. So how does it work? Well, if you see up here, this is a motion sensor. It uses IR to track heat. Now, what does that mean? Well, during the first 15 to 60 seconds, it's probably going to be fairly unreliable as it learns its environment. So whenever you turn the device on, it does a power on self-test, also known as post. It will immediately trigger the motion sensor, testing the inside components, playing music. So if you turn it on and there's no music, if you turn it on and there's no music, immediately turn it off, wait 5 seconds, power it back on. There may be an internal problem with the PIR sensor, which is this up front, and it may not have powered on correctly. So a simple power off, count to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and power back on. And we have music playing. After waiting about 15 to 60 seconds, you should be able to trigger it with some slight motion. This is set to re-trigger. It is set on a very short trigger. So as you can tell, very short burst. We want to be as accurate as possible for the length of time that it plays. So if it keeps having motion, it gets re-triggered and keeps playing. So we can continue to hear our music. But as soon as we move away and stop moving, it's going to shut off. Not only do you have the motion sensor, which plays music, we also, on the top, right here, this is our power LED. When you turn it on, it'll display red, meaning it is powered on. Next to it is another LED. It is white. The white indicates activity. So during the power on self-test, it will light up as well. The limitations of this PIR sensor, as stated by the manufacturer, are that it works within a range of 3 to 7 meters. Now in practice, as you can see, I went like this, which was around 8 inches away. It triggered. It was fairly easy to trigger. As well as I have seen personally in the Bell Mansion, it's sitting in on the one end of a room, and then on the other side a doorway, which I will say is roughly 35 to 40 feet away. It triggered. So that is a much greater distance than what they specify, and I feel like they definitely undersell it. But I would much rather them undersell it than to oversell. So for us, I definitely think you can get anywhere from 6 inches away from it to 20, 25, maybe even 30, 40 feet away. Granted, most rooms you're going to be in should not be near that big. But if you want to, catch a very wide angle, these have a cone of about 120 degrees. So you're 120 degrees. If this is 90, you're talking about, roughly out like this. So that is a pretty wide area. Now, as long as you're behind the box, you won't set it off. If you're in front of it, good chance you will set it off. Just a simple move your hand up, it'll trigger. If you're in a place with animals, cats walking in front of it, dogs, we'll set it off. So let's talk about power. Everybody knows everything in the field is running on 9 volts. And 9 volts do not last very long. We are actually running on 3 AA batteries. And as I can tell from my prototype, that has roughly around 40 to 50 hours of use. We have not changed batteries in it yet, and it has not seemingly died. So if you're going to go out and weekend warrior, this is a great device. You'll probably only have to change your batteries once a year. If you are going to be going out several times a week, you're probably going to change batteries maybe once a month, because I still haven't changed batteries in mine, and I know I've had it on, I've left it on all night at the Bell Mansion in Fort Wayne, if anyone's ever been there. So let's get into some of the problems that you could walk into with this music box. Alright, the biggest problem you're going to have is whether or not you want the music box to just play longer. Now, on top of the motion sensor, there are two adjusters. So if you're looking down at the box, it will be on the left side. It is maxed out. That is the sensitivity knob. That is how sensitive is this to motion / how far out does it try to see. I set it to max. You could always try to turn it down if you really wanted to. I do think it's fine at max. The other adjuster is how long your music plays. Now, I will say I set it for a very short duration, so that practically as soon as the movement stops, the music stops. There's a very fine line from it lasting about 6 seconds long to it jumping to about 30 seconds. So I would honestly not really play with that adjuster unless you wanted, a single bit of movement to do 30 seconds of music. I know how annoying it is to constantly hear. To connect it to your computer, just make sure the box is off. Use a micro USB, plug it right in here. It has 8 megabytes of onboard storage, and you can put one or multiple song files. Now, audio files. It doesn't have to be a song. It can be any kind of audio. You can make a recording of you saying, "There's something here making me move." Anything you want, really. If you put multiple tracks, it will only ever play the first one on every time it is triggered. Now, it has to be re-triggered multiple times and get through a track before it gets to the next track. And that is just all part of how interrupted by kitties. I'm not editing that out. Oliver. Okay, whatever. Anyways. So that is part of the music player. I can't change any of that. So if you just have... So you can put multiple tracks on. It will play the first one alphabetically. And it will only play the second if it plays fully through. And again, every time it is triggered and stops playing, the next time it is triggered, it starts over at the very first track. So it does not play here and remember that it's here, and when triggered, keeps going. So that is a difference between the digital player and the mechanical ones. So this will continue to replay the same thing over and over, but instead of always hearing the same thing, this one can be customized and you can put on whatever you want. So let's say you want one of these. How do you get one? Well, if you're on your way to the Bell Mansion in Fort Wayne, Indiana, built in 1893, stop by their lovely gift shop. They are for sale in the gift shop, $150 a piece. Or, if you can't go there, contact us at our email on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, that you want one. We'll get everything figured out. They are $150 plus shipping. Shipping will have to be figured out when we go to the post office, because shipping is different depending on how far away you are. So the only other thing that you could potentially have go wrong with one of these is that your sensor becomes unplugged. So there's a little wire here. So the way this is wired, if we can see this, so going left to right on these 3 pins is the same left to right on these 3 pins. So very simple wiring. So if this ever comes unplugged from either end, look at which way it's plugged in and plug them in the same corresponding way. So either on the sensor or on the board, same way, left to right. So as this one is black, brown, white, black, brown, white. Now, they all have different colored cables. Like this one is green, blue, yellow, green, blue, yellow. And when it comes to the small ones, because they are put in a little differently, they are left to right, the same top to bottom. So, slightly different, but if you ever need to know how they go, left to right, or left to right, top to bottom, depending on whether you have medium, large, or small. Well, thanks for watching the video. I'm Tyler from Paranormal Inquiries. If you haven't, like, subscribe to the video, and follow us on our other forms of social media, such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And if you like these, contact us about purchasing them at the.paranormal.inquiries@gmail.com or on any of our socials. As well as, if you have ideas for any kind of equipment that you would like custom built, let us know. We can see what we can come up with. Key butt.